Good morning or good afternoon to all yogis joining us for another week of Yoga with Félix. My name is Félix and I'm the PSP Fitness and Sports staff located in Belgium. Donc, bienvenue à tous ceux et celles qui se joignent à nous pour une autre semaine de yoga avec Félix. Je m'appelle Félix et je suis l'employé des PSP, conditionnement physique et sport, localisé en Belgique, en Europe. This week, for Yoga Flow, we focus on inversion asanas. So what these are going to do is that it's going to improve your circulatory system by bringing blood back to the heart, also increase the lymphatic drainage, which can also improve your immune system, and finally simply improve the body awareness and your confidence, and also work on your core and glutes. So what I would recommend for this session is only to have your yoga mat, a bottle of water, and perhaps a yoga block can also help you out during the session. Donc, l'intention de notre flow de cette semaine, ça va être des positions, donc des asanas inversés, ce qui va augmenter la circulation du sang et le retourner au niveau du cœur, et puis aussi augmenter le drainage lymphatique, ce qui va aussi améliorer votre système immunitaire. Donc, de plus, ça va aussi vous aider à avoir une meilleure conscience de votre corps, augmenter votre confiance et aussi va aider à travailler les abdominaux et le bas du dos et les muscles des fessiers. Donc, tout ce que vous avez besoin aujourd'hui, ça va être votre tapis de yoga, votre bouteille d'eau et je peux aussi vous recommander d'avoir un bloc qui peut vous aider lors de la session. So, as usual, please be mindful of your body during today's flow. I'm unable to give feedback during the flow, so remember past injuries and current limitations, and always listen to your body. So come out of painful poses when you need to. Donc avant de commencer, rappelez-vous d'écouter votre corps tout au long de la session. Donc rappelez-vous de vos blessures antécédentes et vos limites présentes. Et n'hésitez pas à sortir des positions qui peuvent être trop difficiles ou douloureuses. Let's get started. So let's get started with our first asana of the day. Here we're going to go into child's pose or balasana, donc position de l'enfant. So for this one, let's place our knees together, bring our forehead all the way down to the mat, dropping the shoulders forward. And bring your awareness and focus to your breath. So breathing in deeply for a 4-second count. Maximizing the inhale. And allow the exhale to be this passive, slower exhalation all the way back down. And as you're bringing your awareness to the breath, you can check in with yourself this morning or this afternoon, and you can set your intention for the next 60 minutes, whether that is to be easy with yourself, or whether that is to try to push a little bit more in these different poses. Donc, dans votre position de l'enfant, balasana, les genoux ensemble, le front sur le tapis de yoga, les omoplates décontractés vers l'avant. Prenez quelques minutes ici pour bien vous centrer pour les prochaines 60 minutes. Donc, prenez des grandes inspirations par le nez. Remplissez complètement les poumons d'air. Et expirez de façon passive pour environ 4 à 5 secondes. Et prenez le temps de sélectionner votre intention qui va vous guider pour les prochaines 60 minutes de notre flow. So staying in your balasana, forehead on the ground, extend both arms out to the front. And you can bridge up on top of the fingers to add a little bit of a shoulder stretch here and gently move the body side to side. Donc avec les bras vers l'avant, on vient sur le dessus des doigts et on vient travailler un peu la flexibilité des épaules ici, la mobilité. Still breathing deeply here, checking in with the body. On a une grande inspiration. And meet all the way back up to your tabletop position. Making sure your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips here. Let's go through a couple of rounds of cat-cows. Inhaling, looking forward, arching the lower back. And on your own pace, when you're ready, rounding out the spine, exhaling, pressing the ground away, getting the shoulder blades to spread apart. Donc, position de la table. On fait quelques répétitions de chameau. On inspire dans la position du chameau. Et lorsque vous êtes prêt, on expire dans la position du chat. So a few rounds here, taking the time to warm up the spine. These inversions are going to place some stress on the shoulder, neck, and spine area. We want to make sure we're warming up these joints, loosening them up before we put added pressure on them and start to go deeper in the range of motion. Donc, one last time, une dernière fois, on inspire, on arque le bas du dos et en expirant, on vient rentrer le ventre, contracter les abdominaux et étirer les omoplates vers l'avant. Good, and bring it back to your tabletop position. Taking a big breath in, inhaling, reaching the right arm up to the sky. And exhaling, threading the needle over towards the left, dropping the right shoulder on the ground, gazing up to the sky. Few breaths here, if we can. We can place the left arm behind the back, in between the shoulder blades, retracting the left shoulder blade, pressing into the ground, and enjoying a nice twist in the spine. Inhale, and exhale, place the left hand back down, opposite side. On prend une grande inspiration, on apporte la main gauche vers le ciel. Et on vient expirer en apportant la main gauche vers la droite. On dépose l'épaule au sol. On regarde vers le plafond. Si on peut, on vient placer la main droite entre les omoplates. Et si on veut rétracter l'épaule, donc on apporte l'épaule droite vers l'arrière. On contracte l'omoplate pour aller retrouver la position de rotation ici. On inspire et en expirant, on dépose la main droite au sol et on revient trouver notre position de la table, tabletop position. Extending the right leg back, we're going to find our balancing table pose. So making sure your wrists are under your shoulders, the back leg, the foot points down, stretching out your calf and your Achilles tendon. Squeezing the right glutes, making sure you're not higher than the glutes, but you're parallel to the ground. Finally, looking down, reach the left arm out to the front. For a few second hold, find the balance. Feel your glutes squeeze, contract the abdominals consciously. Finally, reach as far forward as you can with the fingertips of the left hand. And place it all down. Other side, le pied gauche. On apporte le pied gauche vers l'arrière. On s'assure que les orteils soient pointés vers le sol. On garde la cuisse bien activée. Le pied complètement parallèle au sol. Et finalement, on vient chercher avec les doigts de la main droite la position la plus avancée pour trouver notre position de la table avec balancier. On contracte les muscles de la fesse gauche, de la cuisse, le bas du dos. On s'assure de consciemment activer les muscles des abdominaux. Trouver notre équilibre ici. Commencez à bien échauffer les muscles du corps. Et on dépose. Moving into our tiger pose. With the right side first, I'm going to keep the right knee bent at a 90-degree angle, keeping the foot flexed. I'm going to extend that hip. So I'm squeezing the right glute. The foot stays pointed this time. And with the left hand, I'm going to reach forward first. And finally, on the inhale, we're going to bring the left arm up, look up, and kick that right leg up. And on the exhale, bring it in, elbow to knee, touch, exhale, squeeze the ab. That's one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, in. Inhale, up. Exhale, in. One final time, inhale up. We're going to hold here for a few seconds, try to kick that heel up even more. Reach up even more, squeeze. And exhale, in. And switch sides. Côté gauche maintenant. En gardant le genou gauche fléchi à un angle de 90 degrés. On va apporter la hanche en extension, contracter la fesse gauche. En regardant vers l'avant, on apporte la main droite vers l'avant pour trouver notre position du tigre. En inspirant, on apporte le pied et la main vers le ciel le plus haut possible. On regarde vers le haut. Et on expire, on apporte le genou au coude. On contracte les abdominaux pour 1. On inspire vers le haut. On expire pour 2. On inspire vers le haut. On expire pour 3. Et une dernière fois, on va le maintenir en haut pendant quelques secondes. On inspire vers le haut. On apporte le pied le plus haut possible, la main vers le plafond. On inspire. Et on expire. On apporte le genou au coude. Et on revient en position de la table. Good. Placing your hands shoulder width apart, spreading out those fingertips wide on the mat. We're going to meet up in our downward facing dog position, in our inversion position here. So bridge up, press the ground away, as this is our first downward facing dog of the day. Don't hesitate to bend those knees to lessen the stress on the hamstrings. Keep the head in between the biceps. Bring the hips up toward the ceiling. And you can walk your dog here, as this is our first downward facing dog. Try to bring one heel down and switch. Other heel down and switch. Finally, find your downward facing dog. Find the stillness in the pose. And Finally, we're going to slowly walk our feet all the way to the front of our mats to find standing forward fold here. So you can interlace your arms, grab opposite elbows, allow the head to fully relax. Release the neck, the lower back, and the hamstrings. And just gently move side to side. Continuing to breathe deeply and consciously here. Finally, release the hands and the fingertips to the toes and slowly, vertebra by vertebra, starting with the lower back, we're going to rise all the way up into our standing mountain pose here. So when you're standing mountain pose, we're going to have our feet hip width apart. We're going to bring our hands into prayer pose. Let's do one full breath here, keeping our shoulders relaxed and low. Chin tucked in, gazing forward. Feel yourself grounded on your yoga mats. Finally, inhale, reach the arms up. Arch the lower back slightly. Exhale, hands come down in line with the toes. With the right leg, big step back. Drop the knee. Inhale up, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Full breath here. Look to the front of your mat. Drop the knees down. Chin, chest. Inhale up. Baby cobra. Keep your hips down, shoulders low and relaxed. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring the right foot in front of your mat, in line with the toes. Drop the left knee. Inhale up, low lunge. Exhale, hands come down. Bring the left foot to the front of your mats. And finally, inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And bring the arms back into prayer pose. One full breath. Relax the shoulders. Feel yourself grounded. Opposite side now. On les met en position prière, les pieds, largeur du bassin. On inspire, on apporte les mains vers le ciel. On expire, on apporte les doigts jusqu'au sol. On apporte le pied gauche vers l'arrière. On dépose le genou gauche. On inspire, position fente basse. On expire, les mains viennent au sol. Position chien tête en bas. Une respiration complète ici. Les mains à largeur des épaules, les doigts bien élargis. On dépose les genoux au sol, on dépose le menton et la poitrine. On inspire, position cobra. On expire, position chien, tête en bas. On apporte le pied gauche vers l'avant. On dépose le genou droit, on inspire, fente basse. On expire, on apporte les mains au sol. Le pied droit vient vers l'avant du tapis. Et on inspire, on apporte les mains jusqu'au plafond. Et on expire, position prière. On détend les épaules. On regarde vers l'avant. Les pieds, largeur du bassin. Sentez-vous bien stable sur votre tapis de yoga. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come down in line with the toes. Right leg steps back, drop the knee. Inhale up, low lunge. Exhale, hands come down. meet in downward facing dog. If you can, we're going to go into revolved downward facing dog. So by placing all of your weight on the left arm, we're going to bring the right hand off the mat, reach where you can on your left leg, and look under the armpit, over towards the left to find revolved downward facing dog position. Don't hesitate to bend into those knees if you need to. Breathe in. Finally, breathe the arm all the way back down. Drop the knees down, chin, chest, inhale up, cobra. Go a little bit higher this time if you want. Shoulders relaxed, press the ground away, feet about shoulder width apart. Drop down, inhale up, again, downward facing dog. This time both hands down, bend into the knees. Look to the front of your mat, bring your right foot in line with your toes. Drop the left knee, inhale up, low lunge. Exhale, hands come down, left foot meet front of your mat, forward fold. And inhale, arms all the way up. And exhale, prayer pose. Very good. Staying with me now. Bring the awareness back to the breath. Feel yourself grounded and supported by your yoga mat. Hands in prayer position. On inspire, on apporte les mains vers le ciel. On expire, on apporte les doigts et les mains en ligne avec les orteils. Avec le pied gauche, on prend un grand pas vers l'arrière. Dépose le genou. On inspire, position fente basse. On expire, on apporte les mains au sol. Position chien tête en bas. Donc cette fois-ci, on va faire la position chien tête en bas avec une rotation. Donc on place tout le poids sur la main droite et on apporte la main gauche vers l'arrière. On essaie d'agripper un endroit sur notre jambe droite. Donc, soit au niveau du mollet ou plus bas, au niveau de la cheville. On regarde vers le plafond, en dessous du bras. On va chercher la rotation au niveau du tronc aussi. Finalement, on redépose la main au sol, on dépose les genoux, menton et poitrine, on inspire. Cobra, on peut aller un peu plus haut cette fois-ci. On garde les pieds largeur des épaules, on descend les épaules, contracte les fessiers. On garde les bras légèrement fléchis. On expire, position chien tête en bas. On regarde vers l'avant, le pied gauche vient vers l'avant. On dépose le genou droit au sol, on inspire, fente basse. Et on apporte les mains au sol, on apporte le pied vers l'avant en expirant. On inspire, on apporte les bras jusqu'au plafond. Et on expire, on apporte les mains en position prière. Good. So take some time to catch your breath here. Grab some water. Donc, prenez-vous de l'eau pour rester bien hydraté tout au long de la séance. If you're done breathing or drinking your water, you can simply meet all the way down on your mats. Donc, si vous avez terminé de boire, on peut se rejoindre sur notre tapis. We're going to meet in Dandasana. On va se rentrer dans la position Dandasana. Ooh, good. Should be nice and warmed up now. And ready to bring our flow to the next step. So Dandasana, we're simply sitting down with both legs out in front of us. Let's meet in Navasana now, or boat pose. So a few options here for boat pose. The intent is to engage your core, specifically the abdominals, the lower back, and also the hip flexors. So the first way to do Navasana is to grab your hamstrings, the back of your thighs, lean back, bring your chest up, so not down and in, up and out, and finally bring the arms out in front. If you can bring one leg out to bring the tibia parallel to the ground and point the toes, or if you can bring both legs, tibias, parallel to the ground. So let's go in Navasana here. So my feet are pointed forward, legs are parallel to the ground, arms are forward, and I want to make sure my chin is up, my chest is up as high as possible, and I'm gazing forward, finding the balance here, engaging the core, and we're going to slowly lower in 3, start to lower, 2, extend the arm or the legs forward, 1, brace the core, and release. Place both feet about a foot away from your glutes. Going to go into another inversion asana, into bridge pose here. So my feet are about hip width apart. Hands are on the side. Tuck the chin in, keeping the spine aligned from the head through the torso and the lower back. And on your next inhale, we're going to press through our feet. The entire foot and feet are pressed into the mat. And let's bridge up here into our inversion. Every time we inhale, I want you to try to bridge up a little bit higher. And when you exhale, you stay right where you are, continuing to press through the entire feet, through the heels and the ball of the foot, keeping your knees aligned with your toes, not caving in. Inhale, squeeze the glutes, go even a bit higher if you can. Be strong here. Find the strength in your lower body and in your core. Squeeze those glutes. One final time. Inhale and bring the hips up as high as you can. Squeeze. And as you exhale, slowly lower the hips all the way down to the ground. Extend both legs forward and come up into, once again, Dandasana. Point the toes up to the sky. Bend the knees slightly. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale into Paschimottanasana, or seated forward fold. Grab the outside of the toes. And now if you can start to walk the hips back. Drop the forehead all the way down. Enjoy this nice introverted asana here, releasing the hamstrings and lower back. Bring the awareness back to the breath. This is a great posture to release stress and anxiety and lengthen the posterior chain, hamstring, glutes, lower back. Then you can slowly release and come back up. We're going to go back to Navasana, or boat pose. So once again, grab the back side of your legs, point the toes forward, Then move into both poses of your choice, always starting by grabbing the legs. Donc, deuxième fois, position Navasana ou du bateau. Donc, on pointe les pieds vers l'avant. On commence en agrippant le terrain des cuisses, apporter la poitrine vers le haut. Et finalement, on relâche les cuisses. On apporte les mains vers l'avant, menton levé, poitrine levée. On regarde vers l'avant. Et on vient trouver notre équilibre et notre stabilité dans la position du bateau, qui va bien engager tous les muscles du tronc, le bas du dos, les abdominaux et les fléchisseurs des hanches. Donc, trouvez votre force et votre équilibre ici pour garder la position du bateau. Et on va commencer à descendre au sol. 3, 2, 1 et on dépose jusqu'au sol. Donc, rapportez les pieds près du bassin ici, environ à un pied. On va monter dans la position du pont. Et cette fois-ci, on va essayer de faire avec une seule jambe. So moving up into bridge pose for a second time, into our inversion. And this time, if we can, we're going to go on one leg. So first start with both feet hip-width apart, les pieds largeur du bassin. Inhale, on inspire, on apporte le bassin vers le haut. And now with the right leg staying on the ground, see if you can extend the left leg out to the front. You can either keep it in line with the other leg, you can place it higher, choose what you would like here. Mettez tout le poids sur le côté droit. On engage bien la fesse ici. On pousse à travers le sol avec le talon et l'avant du pied. Garde le genou bien aligné ici. Et chaque fois qu'on inspire, on essaie de monter un peu plus haut avec le bassin. One last breath. Dernière inspiration. Le plus haut possible et on expire en descendant tranquillement jusqu'au sol. On apporte le pied droit vers l'avant. On remonte. On apporte les mains vers le ciel, on inspire. Et on expire, on apporte les deux mains vers l'avant. Position Paschimottanasana. Donc, pliez les genoux autant que vous avez besoin. Et une fois que vous avez agrippé vos pieds, on peut commencer à reculer le bassin tranquillement vers l'arrière. Finalement, on relâche les muscles du cou et de la tête pour être une position penchée vers l'avant. Paschimottanasana. Donc, Paschimottanasana, une position asana introvertie, ce qui va aider à réduire le stress et l'anxiété. Et aussi aller étirer les muscles de la chaîne postérieure, ischio-jambier, fessier et bas du dos. Et même les muscles du grand dorsal aussi. Et on relâche. Let's do that one last time, a little bit quicker now. Let's meet in Navasana, boat pose, third and final time. This time, if you wish, si on veut, on peut essayer d'apporter les jambes en extension le plus haut possible. So this time, if you wish, it's our third and final time in Navasana or boat pose. Try to extend the legs out, point the feet forward, keep the chest up. If it's shaking, it's okay. I know I definitely am here. Squeeze the quads, get the chest up, point the toes forward, and slowly come down to one, all the way down to the floor. Moving into bridge pose a final time. Both legs about a foot away from your glutes. Inhale, bridge up. Retract the shoulder blades. Keep the left foot down and extend, if you can, the right leg forward. Point the toes forward. Squeeze the left glute. Press the entire left foot against the mat. From the heel to the ball of the foot. Inhale, bridge up. One more time. Inhale, bridge up. Squeeze the glutes. And exhale, bring the hips all the way back down. Ooh, very good. You can grab some water. Prenez-vous un peu d'eau si vous le désirez. A little bit of time to catch your breath. After that, inversion core flow. And finally, we're going to go into our shoulder stance here. So for shoulder stance, remember to listen to your body. It's going to put added pressure on the neck and shoulders here. So be mindful of that. Shoulder stance. We can either do half shoulder stance, or we're going to be holding our glutes and bringing our legs up, or we're going to do full shoulder stance, or we're going to be placing your hands at our lower back. Well, let's get started on shoulder stance. So bring your heels close to your glutes first. Tuck the chin in. Align the head from your neck all the way through the T-spine and your lower back. We're going to place both hands down, palms down, and with the help of our hands, we're going to bring our knees up off the ground and to the back. So from here, we can place our hands either on the glutes, and if that's all you can do today, you can stay in this half shoulder stance. As you see, the blood will still flow from your lower body back to the heart. If you can get a little bit higher in your shoulder stance, you can start to walk the hands to the lower back, keeping the chin tucked in. And finally, you can extend one leg out. And finally, you can extend the opposite leg. So we'll just spend a few moments here, a few breaths in our shoulder stance, keeping the hands at the lower back. You can either keep the legs straight, you can release and relax the legs, you can keep one up or the other one up. I would advise to play around a bit with the shoulder stance. Doesn't have to be perfect. The intent here is to be playful with the position, increase body awareness, increase confidence, increase core strength and your upper body as well. Make sure your chin is in. There's no pressure at the neck. You can always choose to do shoulder stance here with a blanket under the neck. That can help as well. Make it a little bit more comfortable. Good. And finally, bend the knees back down. Start to walk the hands back down to the glutes. And you can slowly drop the feet down. And we're going to go into half plow pose before we go into the full plow pose. So half plow pose, you can simply stay on your back and bring both legs up to the ceiling. If you have a block, you can also place the block underneath your hips and keep both legs up to the sky, releasing the hands next to the body. close the eyes and bring the awareness back to the breath, allowing the blood to come back to the heart, draining the lymphatic system, catching your breath here. And as we're catching our breath here in our half plow pose, we're going to get ready for a second round. We're going to go back into our shoulder stance. And finally, if we can, we're going to go into the full plow pose, which is from the shoulder stance, dropping the legs over the head. But this is considered to be an intermediate move. So if you're not ready for the full plow pose, you can always come back to this half plow pose. That's going to be more accessible for all levels. And finally, drop the legs all the way back down. You can remove the block underneath the hips if you're using one. And let's go back into our shoulder stance here. A little bit more time to practice it. We're going to do it in French now. Donc on place les deux mains sur le sol, paume vers le sol. On rapporte les pieds vers les fessiers. Et à l'aide des mains, on va rapporter les genoux vers la tête. Et on soulève le bassin comme ceci. Quand le menton rentré, et on place les mains au bassin. Donc, très important d'avoir la tête, le menton rentré, la colonne vertébrale bien alignée. Et finalement, on peut, si on veut, on peut rapporter les mains encore plus vers le centre du dos. Et finalement, on apporte un pied et finalement l'autre pied vers le plafond. Et on peut même s'amuser ici un peu avec notre position de la chandelle. On peut soit garder les genoux fléchis, c'est plus facile. On est quand même dans la position inversée. Donc on vient chercher les bénéfices qu'on a discuté au début de la session. On peut garder les deux pieds vers le plafond, garder les genoux légèrement fléchis, un, l'autre ou les deux. Ça n'a pas besoin d'être parfait. On veut simplement avoir les pieds plus haut que le cœur pour aller chercher les bénéfices. On garde les coudes vers l'intérieur, le menton bien rentré. Et on peut s'amuser avec ici, c'est ça qui va augmenter notre confiance en soi, qui va augmenter notre conscience de notre corps, notre proprioception. OK? Et donc, de la position de la chandelle, on va aller dans la position plow pose, full plow pose. So for this one, on peut plier les pieds vers l'arrière et tranquillement, on vient rapporter les pieds au-dessus de la tête. Si c'est pas possible, on reste dans la position de la demi-plow pose. Donc, tranquillement, on vient descendre, descendre, descendre. Si on peut garder les jambes droites, on les garde droites. Sinon, on peut plier les genoux. Garder le menton bien rentré. Et on peut porter les mains par-dessus la tête. Okay. Et pour en ressortir, tranquillement, on vient replacer les mains au niveau du bas du dos, placing your hands back at the lower back, and slowly coming out of plow pose. On dépose tranquillement le bassin jusqu'au sol. Et on vient porter les deux pieds vers l'avant. So bringing both feet to the front of the mat. Very well done, everyone. In these new asanas, we're going to start on our lower backs here. We're going to bring both knees into the chest, into our wind release pose. Again, keeping the chin in. And we can just gently rock side to side, allowing the lower back to get a nice massage. Breathing deeply, starting to our cool down, lowering back down the heart rate, lowering the body temperature. Finally, keeping the left knee in, we're going to extend the right leg out to the front, interlace the fingertips, and bringing that left knee up as high as you can, keeping the head down, the chin in, gazing up at the ceiling. Finally, only letting the right hand on the left knee. We're going to extend the left hand out to the side, look to your left, and drop that left knee all the way over towards the right. Into your reclined spinal twist. Try to keep your left shoulder on the ground. So only bringing the knee as low as your shoulder, chest, and spine allows you to. Big deep breath in, although not as easy to breathe in the rotated position. Try to maximize the breath in. And as you exhale, try to see if you can bring yourself a little bit lower into the position. And bring yourself back to neutral. Bring both knees in momentarily. This time, start with the head down, chin in, grabbing your hands, pulling at the knees. And finally, bring your chin in and try to bring your forehead all the way to your knees. You can even grab opposite elbows if you can. Coming to the smallest ball possible. See if you can touch your forehead to your knees. And come all the way back down. Cette fois-ci, le côté droit, donc on apporte la jambe gauche vers l'avant en extension. On entrelace les doigts et on vient agripper le genou du côté droit. Quelques respirations ici, on garde le menton rentré. Le derrière de la tête contre le tapis. Et on vient tirer le plus que possible le genou droit vers le haut. S'assure que le mollet du côté gauche reste en contact avec le sol. Et finalement, on garde seulement la main gauche sur le genou. On apporte la main droite vers le côté. On regarde du côté droit. Et lors de votre expiration, on vient déposer le genou droit vers la gauche. Trouvez notre position de rotation du dos. Et on s'assure que l'épaule droite reste en contact avec le sol. On apporte seulement le genou aussi loin que notre épaule, pectoraux et dos nous le permet. Et rapportez votre attention à votre respiration. Donc des grandes inspirations, même si c'est pas facile, dans cette position de rotation. Et des grandes expirations. Pour aller voir où, jusqu'à quelle position on peut se rendre. Quel degré de rotation. Et on rapporte une fois de plus les deux jambes vers la poitrine. Donc, position ici. On commence la tête au sol, le menton rentré. On agrippe les mains, on tire sur les genoux. Et cette fois-ci, on va élargir les genoux. Spread your knees apart. Bring both feet into the knees. Grab the outside of the feet. And let's go into happy baby pose. Our final inversion position of the day. Keeping the head down, chin in. Extending the knees out. And you can either grab the outside of the feet or the top. Whatever feels natural. Lengthening the hamstrings. Massaging the lower back. Okay, et on relaxe les jambes, relax the legs, and find your final position. Find your Shavasana. So in your final asana of the day, Shavasana, feet shoulder width apart. Palms are up. Body is fully relaxed. Eyes are closed. And finally bring all the awareness inside. Internalize your awareness. Only focus on your breath. And no need to breathe as deeply as possible here. You can simply assume the breathing pattern that is appropriate for this final position. Notice the calmness and the ease of this final position. Good moment to simply reflect back on the intention you set for yourself at the beginning of the flow. And without any judgment, simply acknowledge if you're able to stay true to your intention. Donc, dans cette dernière position, ou asana, apportez toute votre attention à votre respiration. Soyez conscient du relâchement de tous les muscles de votre corps. Et allez Allez chercher une respiration profonde, mais naturelle. Peu importe ce que votre corps a besoin présentement. Et prenez un moment pour faire une petite réflexion par rapport à votre intention que vous avez sélectionnée pour vous au début du cours. Et sans jugement, simplement réaliser si vous avez été capable de maintenir cette intention pendant toute la séance. Finally, let's start to externalize the awareness by bringing some movements back in the fingertips and in the toes. On rapporte des mouvements dans les poignets et dans les pieds. Finally, let's bring both knees into the chest and allow your knees to fall to either side. And finally, with the help of your hands, you can help yourself up and meet back in our first asana of the flow, in Sukhasana, les positions, les mains en position prière. On va faire une dernière respiration tous ensemble. On prend une grande inspiration. Inhale deeply. And exhale. Thank you so much for joining another week of Yoga with Félix, focusing on the inversions. I hope you have a wonderful day or afternoon, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Donc, merci à tout le monde qui se sont joints à notre semaine de yoga hebdomadaire avec Félix. J'espère que vous avez aimé la session avec le focus sur les asanas inversés. Et on se revoit la semaine prochaine. Merci, au revoir. Namaste.